All right, let's talk about word of mouth.
I'm going to pass this around. If you don't know, Sue has
This is actually one of my favorite presentations.
we should actually put, oh, she said that.
But it is an impressive, which is what we call impressive, which means I have like 15 or 20 minutes. I was afraid that, and I've been getting texts from everybody that they have not finished their lunch. So we are in charge of our own agenda. That's the good news. So if we start a few minutes late today, right now, and if we end a few minutes late in the evening, I think we'll be fine. So word of mouth. Why word of mouth? Well, word of mouth is really trusted. 92% of consumers trust word of mouth above all other advertising, and that's going up all the time. I like word of mouth because it's targeted, and we'll give a couple examples of that. What's cool about word of mouth is if I decide to share something with you, I'm sharing it with you because you have you've given me a reason to believe that this is relevant to you. So it's such a targeted way to communicate your message, and it's also very persuasive for those same kinds of reasons. There's research that shows 20 to 50% of all buying decisions involve some kind of word of mouth. Word of mouth is cost effective. We know this. We should know this. You have reduced customer acquisition costs. It's a lot cheaper because word of mouth should be free. I've said this before, but if you're paying for word of mouth, I would ask you to rethink that. I think it cheapens it. I always give the example of romance. You don't want to pay for romance. You ruin everything as soon as you pay for it. And same thing with word of mouth. You have better results than traditional advertising. Word of mouth is highly effective. You should know your word of mouth stats. I'm anywhere between 87 and 92%. That's my range of what my lead flow comes from word of mouth. Sales are easier when good words abound. If you have good word of mouth going around, your front desk, everything for them is easier when there's that good buzz, that good hype. There's reduced customer service costs. When things are going well, the people out there have already laid the path for you, and you have a stronger brand, good recognition out there. Okay, here's two myths that let's dispel these two myths. Can you hear me back there? Okay, two myths. The first is that the action, research is showing us the action for word of mouth is not online. I would not spend a lot of money trying to encourage a lot of online word of mouth. Thank goodness, because you know what? Our wheelhouse is probably the face-to-face stuff. I think most of us, when we look at what we're really good at, we're probably better at the face-to-face interactions and the real-life relationship things than we are on social media and technical stuff. So I was really pleased as I was researching for this presentation, and I knew I need to come up with some pieces of information that are going to be new or different or new way of looking at it to an audience that already understands and you've already relied upon word of mouth. I have for years. Word of mouth has been my trusted lead source. So my job today is let's try to come up with some things that, haven't thought about that, or that's a good idea. So I was very pleased to learn that we shouldn't be doing a whole lot of effort or not focusing all of our word of mouth effort on online, because even though there's a lot of people that are online every day, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, remember the other 20 hours they're not online. And since that isn't our wheelhouse, that's great news for us. Do fans and likes translate to enrollment? The answer is no. Another great study, less than 0.5% of fans engage with that brand at any given time during the week. And of the 200 brands that they studied, and they were big brands, only one brand had 2% of their fans engaged with them in any given week. If we got 900 new likes for Cal Elite for that week, it would have been really nice if we had 900 new enrollments. But I can tell you that likes do not necessarily translate to enrollment. My feeling is that all of our social media emphasis, and Cal Elite does a lot of it, I look at it more on my retention side of our operations. Okay, everyone's texting me telling me they're late for lunch. We know you're late. I look at it as a retention tool. To me, it's a great way to keep in touch with the customers that we all already have and love, and a great way to keep the communication open, but I don't see it as a huge component of our word of mouth advertising. Advertising, traditional advertising, that is the cost of being boring. If your customers won't talk about you, you're going to have to pay someone to do it. So this is why we want and we like real good word of mouth. Okay, here's the first concept. The goal is not to get people talking about your brand. That's what we see and what we teach and what we understand and what's out there. The goal is to get people to talk about themselves and then have your brand somehow interjected into that conversation. And it's a different goal. I'm going to give an example of a parent that I heard in our swim school, and here's what she said. She said, she was on the phone with, I think, her husband. You should have seen Olivia at her swim lesson today. Her teacher at Cal Elite, word of mouth, said, had her working on side breathing, and she motioned for me to clap for Olivia. And the mom's on the phone going, as if they can see her. After that, Olivia kept looking at me every single time it was her turn, waiting for me to clap. And then she laughed a little bit on the phone, and she goes, I clapped like 50 times during that lesson. And pretty soon, all the other kids were in the class, and they wanted their parents to clap for them too. And after a while, and then she goes, you kind of had to have been there, maybe, but we were standing up and clapping for our kids like every 2 seconds. We felt like trained seals. And then they said something, and then she said, it was the best swim lesson I've ever had. I'm so glad we made the decision. So I think the decision must have been to come to Cal Elite. That is word of mouth. That she wasn't talking about Cal Elite's brand. They have a saltwater pool. I don't know how to make this stop over here. I'll flip it over. They have a saltwater pool, or they have this temperature water, or they have a UV system. They're not talking about that. That's all this facility stuff. She was talking about herself and her daughter, and Cal Elite got injected into that conversation. That's the kind of word of mouth that you want to go after. Your goal for word of mouth is not to go viral. The goal for us in our business is personal. We enroll students one by one. We do not enroll students 10,000 at a time. It's stupid for us to go after some kind of a marketing goal that isn't in alignment with the kind of business that we are. My feeling is that strategies seeking viral flair are at odds with sustainable branding. I don't like this silly stuff. I don't like the blow-up gorilla. I apologize now if any of you have blow-up gorilla. I don't like the blow-up gorilla on the roof or the purple cow out front. To me, I like sustainable ideas that look and feel like who we are. And I will enroll a student one at a time on a personal level all day long before I seek a gimmick that's going to promote a lot of talk. There are studies that show there's no correlation between crazy things and successful word of mouth. What they find is that these crazy things, these promotions, they might create a spike in the chatter, in the word of mouth that's out there, but it does not lend to sustainable word of mouth, not the kind of branding that you want to convey, not in our business. The goal in your word of mouth operation or what you're seeking is to create a symphony. Why would our customers want to play in our word of mouth symphony? Word of mouth is not a campaign, it's not a strategy, it's not a cause, it's bigger than that. It's a lot of players, it's a lot of music, it's a lot of small notes, it's a lot of big notes, and there's a meticulously crafted composition where everybody is playing their part. If you are doing everything right, people are happy to share your message. If there's one little glitch, one little hiccup, it's not seamless, then you're going to lose that word of mouth. So what I really like about word of mouth is it's more complicated than it looks. You have these balls in the air and it needs to feel like a symphony. So why would customers want to play in our symphony? Why would they want to be a part of our experience and share it? Well, first of all, talking to others makes the emotional experience better for us. and sharing helps us to connect. That is in our DNA. We are built, we like to share positive experiences. It's like you like to tell the same joke 10 times and it gets better every time you tell it, right? Because you like that connection, you like telling the story, you like how it makes you feel. Sharing does help us connect with the person that we're talking to. We tend to have, if we're talking to our inner circle, almost any topic will work. I can call my mother and she's going to be interested in anything that I have to say. Anything I have to say about my kids is right on point. When it comes to talking about CalElite or our businesses, we tend to be very selective on who we're going to share that with. I'm not going to tell my neighbor who is an electrical contractor about the really cute tutus that we bought on Friday. It's not a relative, it's not relevant to him. So I am, as the word of mouth ambassador, I am going to self-select who I share the message with. And that is what is beautiful about word of marketing. They are going to do that heavy lifting where one by one on a personal level, they share your message. So my first emphasis here is tone it down, make it personal, and be really happy on the small achievements. It's a one by one enrollment process. And recognize the emotion behind it. Here's what I believe is the most important aspect of why people share, is it provides them with important and valuable validation. We all like to be able to talk about something where people listen. And again, this is part of our DNA. We feel important when we have something to communicate. This is why I have never paid for a referral. I know that parents feel in the know if they can tell you, I know where you should go for your swim lessons. Let me tell you. And also, well, what do you know? And of all of the topics in the world that someone wants to feel smart about, I promise you the parenting topic ranks number one. I walked through my gym about 3 months ago, and we have an NFL quarterback laying on the floor with his little kid. I have it's a woman who runs a huge publishing company, and another guy, I don't know what he does, but he can take the day off whenever he wants. And they're sitting around talking. Those kind of people, I say, what does he do for a living? And drives a nice car. These people are sitting around talking, and they're all listening and talking, all listening and talking. And I walked by, and I said, what are you talking about? Baby carriers. Baby carriers, says the NFL quarterback. What do you know about baby? And he had all kinds of things to tell me about the baby carriers. And I just thought it was really funny that the validation that this very accomplished Super Bowl professional athlete felt about being able to tell his friends about freaking baby carriers. There's a certain validation that you can't find any stronger message for a person who's a parent than the parent talk. So that's, to me, the number one reason why they will share. So we need to be able to know who our musicians are. When I studied my lead flow, number one was happy customers. But I also got party guests who talked about us, employees, people we've served, people we've helped, people who serve us, people will wear our logos around. Some of Mark's fireman friends, we had church friends, we have soccer friends and family, and the UPS man gives us all kinds of referrals. So you'd be surprised, but do understand who are the people that might talk. Most of these are customers, but there's a wide variety of other peeps out there. Now that you know they might talk, and now that you know why they want to talk, let's make sure we give them something to talk about. Regular stuff doesn't resonate. Regular stuff is not, you don't come home talking about, pool was warm today, there's blue mats in the gym, my coach was nice. That's not what they talk about. They're looking for something that is emotional or important or out of the ordinary. They're looking for a great story, and then be aware there are physical triggers. So here's some word of mouth that we know. My neighbor Maddie gave us 4 tickets to your show. She's been telling us about her shows all these years. We had no idea. How do I sign up my 2 preschoolers? So that was a neighbor of a team athlete. Another one, we came, and this was us doing a survey saying, how did you find out? We came to our cousin Abby's kindergarten graduation. I'm switching preschools this week. Third one, the Tanner kids are in my carpool, and Shayna, their mom, asked me if I could drop them off here at CalElite Thursdays instead of at home. This place looks awesome. I might as well sign up my kids. Can you set up a class where we can all 6 come at the same time? Oh, yeah, maybe. My friends at church told me you have really conservative views about costuming and music. I got them all fooled. I don't want my girls to be wearing midriffs or taking part in the more worldly dances that we see other kids doing. This is a new one. You gave my sister-in-law $1,000 of free tuition when her husband passed last month. This is a crazy story, and I happen to be standing right there. And she said, "It's gonna make me cry." She said, "This is Amber. These are Mormon people. This is Amber. This is Gracie. This is Jenna. This is their mom, Julie. This is Kyle. This is Abby, and these are my 2 kids. And my neighbor Katie, she's running down right now. She's a little bit late. We'd like to sign up." And that's just a cliquey Mormon community who talk. And you do one nice thing for one person, you have not 3 or 4 customers, but you have the Mormons, so you have 13 new customers the next day. Love it. A mom steps up to the boy, he's about 8, and she says, "Go on, ask her." And the little boy says, "I heard you do circus stuff." And I said, "We do." And I said, "Would you like," and he goes, "Can I fly on a trapeze?" And I said, "Well, do you want to do that before or after you do the high wire?" And he looked at me, we don't have a high wire. He looked at me, he said, "Do I have to decide right now?" And I said, we do circus stuff. Let's sign you up. Here's another one. My kids came to open gym or whatever it's called. He was with their dad yesterday. We're divorced. Yeah, well, holy cow, they both slept like logs the whole night. It's the first time since you know what, did you know who did you know what? Which means it was the first time for me too, and how do I get them here every day? So basically her kids came home exhausted and they slept really well and she was super happy about it. My daughter went to a birthday party last week and all she has talked about is how Coach Marissa told her she's a natural. Natural? She points to her. That was a real good mom move. I guess she worked on a pullover or something. Anyway, she won't stop talking about it. So does Coach Marissa have any classes for 9-year-olds? And that is how you play a symphony. Every single note contributes, and there's a whole lot of people throughout many days of work that lent to that kind of word of mouth. And those are the ones that either I surveyed for or I happened to be at the front desk when it happened. Now here are some things that are going to buzz, they're going to kill your buzz. Money dirties. I don't believe in paying for referrals. Talking about, oh, we have 30,000 square feet. Who the freak cares about how many thousand square feet? Your customers don't care. They're not going to talk about it. We've been in the business since 1642. Who cares? We don't care. We had 2,000 world championships. The customer walking in doesn't care. We're a fourth of a mile from the interstate. They care about that when it's time to get here. They don't care about that as a lure or as a word of mouth strategy. We teach all abilities or all ages, you and everybody else. That is not anything to write home about. No one's going to talk about that or call their friend. Galilee, they're a fourth of a mile from the toll road. They're 30,000 square feet and they teach all ages. It's not exciting. It's not sexy at all. And we have experienced teachers, you and everybody else, or we build self-esteem, you and everybody else. These are buzzkills. This is not going to build you a symphony of word of mouth. Now, what does build it? Keys to giving them something to talk about. Provide detailed information. Your existing customers, they're looking for a nice moment and a good story. But remember, they're talking all the time, especially teen kids or kids that are there for volume. So make sure you keep them informed of all the details because they will talk about you. Details like the show is coming up, da-da-da. Did you know there's 1,200 kids participating in Cal Elite Show? Details. Did you know that summer camp starts on this day and that we're going to be working on circus skills? Get them in on the inside so that if they do decide to talk about something, if they have a story, they have some information behind it. Give progress reports. This is exciting to parents. When they hear, here's what your child is doing, here's the update. They want to know that. Also provide information about your staff. Did you know Luis is having a baby on Saturday? No. Did you know Stephen graduated? Share things that are like inside family information with your customers and they will share it and they feel like they're on the inside. I am a big advocate of offering volunteer opportunities. I didn't used to be, now I am. So when we have shows, we might say, or we have a big event, we say, would you mind baking some cookies? Or would you mind helping to take tickets? Or would you mind? All of a sudden they're on the inside all week long. Oh, I can't, I have to be at Cali early for the show because I'm taking tickets. And there's a lot of chitter and chatter, just little one at a time communications. Make them feel important so they want to talk to their friends about it. Remember, it's in their DNA to want to talk about anything related to their child. And if you put them on the inner track, they're going to talk more. Allow for congregation and fellowship. Can't speak enough of this. Why do people go to church every week for 85 years? Do you think they don't know that message by now? Does that message change? No. They go there for the fellowship. They go there because being there together validates and reinforces what they already believe in. They already believe in this, but they're going to go again next week to be with the same people again because they want that fellowship. We like to congregate. So let's do this in our business. What a beautiful business strategy that, I might add, makes for a whole lot of work for us. It does. I'm not going to polish this. You should have a regular contract with a local supply company for rental chairs. I believe in events. Invite them to congregate for shows, for graduations, for move-up parties, for National Gymnastics Day, a special needs show. We're going to have a dually meet. We're going to invite the gym across the street or the swim club down the street, and we're going to have a little dually meet. We're going to have a movie night. We're going to present parenting speakers the first Sunday of every month. We're going to do family CPR classes, babysitting classes, high school prep meetings. Is this in our business? No. Does it get people to your gym showing up and talking about you? Absolutely. It is also distinguishing, which is our theme this week. Create opportunities for visitors. I love the Girl Scouts. For us, we're a girl-dominant operation. And depending on what community you live in, some areas have their own Girl Scout shop, some do not, and they're looking all the time for somewhere to display Girl Scout clothing, and it's a wonderful market. So you can sign up to be on their list. Sometimes they come in and use your shelves. Sometimes they come in with a big truck, and they park the truck out, and then all of a sudden you've got 500 little Girl Scouts coming to your facility to buy their clothing and their pins and stuff. Swim exhibitions, safety day, charitable events. Open up your facility to those events. Team up, partner up with people in the community. It creates something to talk about. It is above and beyond. I don't have any kind of fantasy about that. It's extra work all the time, but it's a lot nicer to spend money on that than it is to spend money on the advertising. You want to create opportunities. If you've done the American Red Cross blood drive, it doesn't bring a whole lot of people to your facility, but they do advertise for it. So your name shows up in print in some of the community papers for a few weeks in a row. So it doesn't cost you 1 single cent. So volunteer and be willing to have the Red Cross out there for a blood drive at your facility. They like us in general because we do have a lot of people that come through. Get connected with a children's publisher or an author and maybe host a book signing. We are in the children business. If you have a business that brings 2, 3, 4, 5,000 children in during the week, those children book publishers will love you. And that you set an author out in your lobby for 3 hours, all your customers will come. The publisher will market it for you in much bigger advertising venues than we traditionally do, and it's just a cool thing to do. It is distinguishing for sure, and your customers will talk about it. List your facility, maybe with a location scout. We just got the list. Anne has been on a lot of TV shows. Modern day, it's a great opportunity. There are films and commercials and movies where they're looking for facilities like ours, and it comes up. And if you get listed with the local location scouts, you're on a list, and they may choose you. And if they do so, you get paid for the day. But more importantly, you can tell everybody what the next channel or whatever of Modern Family our gym is on it. Yeah, and what?
More importantly,
You do get paid for the day, yes.
they have no idea what money is.
Yeah, Hollywood is definitely, yeah. Hollywood has, how much did you get paid for it?
15 grand for the day.
15 grand for the day?
Wow. 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. You got it not for our afternoon classes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that could be an expensive day, depending on how you look at it. But I just love the fact that it's something to talk about. And then they use your kids as extras, and there's a little chit chat about, come and watch us. We're in Modern Family tomorrow at 4 p.m. or whatever time it comes on. You're really good at TV shows. Okay, physical triggers, preferably public. I still like t-shirts. We have these little email chats going around. I still do the t-shirts because it makes people talk. And I'm perfectly happy with the one at a time. Email signatures and your iPhone defaults. You can change that. Your cell phone message doesn't have to say sent by iPhone. You can change it to say anything you want, so that every time you send a message or you make a phone call or do an email, it's going to have a little tagline that is more important to you. We do bracelets, those paper bracelets for camp and for open gym, and then the kids like them. They feel like they went to a rave party, and they walk around all week with a bracelet that says Cal Elite on it, and one by one, someone's going to ask about that. When we do special events, I paint every kid's hair pink, and I put paint all over their face. They look like little theatrical, they're just all kinds of paint, because for one thing, it's going to take 5 days to go away. And then every time, where did you get that done? What is that? I was at a party at Cal Elite, and I have this butterfly, and I have this dragon, and Miss Lynn, Miss Pam did a, and they're just a scene, and it's just face paint. It's fun for the event, but they leave with a physical trigger for word of mouth. We do contests. I'm excited to do a triathlon in our swim program for all you swim people. And we're going to do it in the spring, and we're going to do it from 2 on up. And so parents will be in the water, and I want to market it to the whole community. I think it'll be great word of mouth, where the little kids will swim a lap or two, and then they're going to have their tricycles and their bicycles all stationed right outside the door, and they're going to have their numbers just like a triathlete, and they're going to run to their bike, and we're going to put numbers on them. They're going to ride their bike to the back of the building and back, depending on how old they are, and they're going to put their tennis shoes and they're going to run. There's going to be transition stations, just like a little triathlon, but for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. And I know that's going to create word of mouth, and it's a fun thing to do. So look for ways to, preferably public, to physically remind people who you are and to talk about you. We have when you vote and it says I voted sticker. That's a physical trigger. You could do stickers that say, I got my cartwheel, or I did my streamline glide, and they leave with that, and all day long people are going to point at that, and it's cheap. We have our Star Guide Can Travel. You take your Star Guide with you, and you ask your customers to take a picture of Star Guide, the Eiffel Tower, Star Guide at the Grand Canyon, and Star Guide gets around, and it's great branding recognition, and it's great chit chat, word of mouth. Just need to finish up. Oops. So in the end, we want to create an experience, and we want to orchestrate the share. So I'm going to end with a couple of stories that I've heard parents say in our gym. This is my symphony that I'm most proud about. Mrs. Payne says Morgan was 3, blew her swim teacher away today. This is her 4th lesson. She's totally comfortable floating on her back. Teacher says she was chatting the whole time and then said she was laughing underwater. Morgan said she had fun. Can you believe it? She was laughing underwater. That was a moment for that mom. The ballet teacher gives them 3 French words every week, and believe me, Bella practices those words every day. Danny came home from Cal Elite today with a green bean shoot. I had to ask what that meant. It was a plant that was like the seed, they planted it. He had a green bean shoot. I was like, what'd you do, a shoot with a green bean? Green bean shoot, an American flag drawing, and a sock puppet named Henry. Gotta love Cal Elite. Firsts. Make sure you are involved in every first that a child that age could have. But remember, a kid's going to have their very first certificate. It needs to be from Cal Elite. They're going to get their very first medal. Better be from Cal Elite. Sometimes they're going to get their very first report card at age 5, 6, or 7. Why don't we do it at age 2, 3, and 4? That's a first. They're going to have their first time to side breathe, or the first time to get all 3 rings from the bottom of the pool. The first time anything a child does for the first time is an inspired moment for the family. They're going to talk about it. So I would encourage you to generate a lot of first times. And the last thing, create photo ops. Jamie told me that she started taking pictures after class. As class would wind down, she would line the kids up on the beam, take a minute or two, get her camera out, and as she was doing that, all the moms get up from the bench. And they all come in, and they're all leaning in, and they're all taking the same photo. And then what happens 10 seconds after moms now take a photo? They're posting it. Jamie, I'm doing it every class. Every class I'm doing it now as part of my lesson plan. Greatest, simplest thing, amazing word of mouth. Is it going to go viral? No. Is it crazy propaganda? No. It's one at a time, a personal connection where we've made those moms our ambassadors and they're happy to do it because it's part of their DNA. You've just done the most important thing you could do for them, and that's take a parent's child and elevate that child. They're going to talk about it. So word of mouth rocks. I love it. It's wonderful, and I encourage you to take advantage.